Hey, ladies.
Where's Mo?
I think she missed the 3, 2, 1
I
countdown.
know.
But she do got the
Mo,
house signs, I see.
she's getting ready.
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday.
There she is. We're on,
Hi,
girl.
we're live.
We
Hey
live.
y'all.
It
Hey y'all.
is good.
Happy
Okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been thinking today has been Thursday the entire
Oh,
day.
oh, for real. Every day I'm like literally one day ahead.
Yeah.
Ahead.
It's just one of those weeks, one of them days.
It is. It is. And excuse me, I'm still trying to get situated. So.
The life of a real estate agent.
Yes.
Listen, today was like chaos upon chaos upon chaos. I
Same
sh-
here.
I showed a really crazy listing that I don't know if the person follows me, so I don't want to talk about it. But it was. I'll tell y'all later. It was wild.
Mhm. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always something going on in the world of real estate. Look, always something going on. It never
Mhm.
fails. But that's what we signed up for. Okay.
It is. I
Right.
wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
Right. Neither would
Mm-mm.
Yes.
I. Love every headache and every blessing.
Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. So I guess we're gonna start by going over some of the market stats in each of our markets to give you guys another rundown of how it works with Brody Capital Realty Group. We are different markets that we service. So my name is Sierra Koger. I am here in Richmond, Virginia. That is the market that I service. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, and then we'll go into the market updates.
Yes, so my name is Mo. I am a real estate agent in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm licensed in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And I'm based out of Alexandria, Virginia.
Hi, y'all. I am Justine Uriah. I service the Houston, Texas area and the surrounding areas. Yeah.
Whoop,
And
whoop.
I am
Texas.
Sierra. Sorry. I am Tierra, the team lead in Hampton Roads, Central Virginia. I service all of the 7 cities, the 757, from Virginia Beach all the way through to like Williamsburg, New Kent, kind of Gloucester, just and everything in between.
Yeah.
A very large area.
Awesome. Yes, guys. So we service a lot of areas. And then outside of those areas, we also can help you find an agent if you are looking to purchase in any of the states that we did not talk about. We can definitely help you in your home buying or home selling journey from there. So definitely reach out to us if you are looking in general to buy or sell or invest in real. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over a little bit about our market stats and market updates. We know that the market is ever changing. And
Yeah.
of course, we're in different markets, so it's going to be different between Richmond, 757, DMV, and then Houston. I just realized there's a lot of acronyms for all these cities. I'm
Mhm.
going to start calling Richmond RVA as they call it, but we'll see. We'll see. So I guess I'll start. Give you guys a little bit of insight into the Richmond market and what's going on lately. So we actually have had a little bit of pickup in inventory. Right now we're sitting on, and this is always a big thing that everybody is stopped by. But we're actually sitting on 0.9 months supply of inventory. Yes, but
Your number always makes my jaw drop.
right. That's better than the
Wow.
zero point 0.7 that it was 2 months ago. Okay. Which is crazy. But again, different places go through different things. So, what that means is that Richmond definitely does not have a lot of inventory, which means that it's still very much a seller's market here because we have a lot of buyers looking for homes and not enough homes for them to buy. So, that is something that's here in Richmond. Like I said, we're still getting most of our offers. We're still getting price increases and things like that in this market. The average sales price on us and it continues to go up. Right now, it is $444,252. And this is from April 2023, to give you guys some insight. Our average days on the market, it says 20 days, but depending on the home, I am seeing homes literally go off the market within days. The first weekend that a house is on the market is so crucial. A lot can happen that first weekend. So I'm seeing if a home is priced really well, if it is presented to the market really well, those homes are flying off the market very, very quickly. And then also percent of original list price received is 102%.
Wow.
102%. That means people are getting what they ask for when it comes to the list price, and they're getting more than that in most cases. Yeah, so that is kind of the Richmond market in a gist. And I'm excited to hear about what's going on in other markets. If you guys can give us some insights, I'm sure it is very different than here.
Yeah, I can go. So I'm gonna do the Washington D.C. market, metropolitan area. For this area, this is the spring market that we're in, but it's a little slower than normal. This in our spring market, we are seeing homes on the market longer, and in some areas also we're seeing homes on the market. Gets on the market one day and then the next day it's off the market. But in the Washington, D.C. area, homes are staying on the market longer than normal. So, with that being said, homes are staying on the market an average of 92 days. The average list price is $659 here in Washington, D.C. area. And also, I wanted to point this out that we have new on the market 1,032 condos for sale, and we have 400 detached homes for sale, and then 587 townhomes for sale, which means we have a lot of condos on the market in the Washington, D.C. area for sale for the month of April, more than normal. So that's different for this market, that we have a ton of condos on the market versus single family and detached homes here. And I find that kind of odd that there's a lot of condos for sale and not single family. And the question is why? So with that being said, the reason why there's more condos, because sellers are not selling their homes. They are not selling their homes because they feel they won't be able to find their next home. So no one's moving, no one's doing anything in this area, but condos are selling. So that's a gist of the Washington, D.C. market currently.
All right, well, we'll go right into the Houston market. So not much change compared to last month or the previous market update in this one. Our average price point right now is around $419 for a single family home. For our townhomes and condos, it's around $279 average price. We're 55 days average on market, which is not that bad. And our, inventory, we have almost 3 months worth of inventory. And Houston is huge. So we have like over 33,000 active listings right now. So there's a lot of options, but there's still some of the homes are still, on the market for a little bit longer. And yeah, that's the Houston market. The only thing that really makes us fluctuate is the interest rates and what else. Like, I guess, I don't know. For the most part, Houston is historically a great housing market. It just fluctuates. But yeah, that's pretty much
3 months. You're spoiled. Like, I'm jealous. I mean, I thought we had it bad here. So I'm in the Hampton Roads area, And this has always been like when the market kind of corrected in other places. I mean, it made a slight adjustment here, but this area with all the military and like the shipyard that brings a lot of people here, they employ like 20 some thousand people. It's just constant people coming and going, PCSing here or leaving to go somewhere else. So, I mean, we have barely any inventory. It's not as bad as Richmond, but we have like a little bit over 1 month supply. So you with 3, oh my goodness, that's like amazing. Our median sales price, so this area is broken. I wrote it down. This area is broken down. So there's the South Side, which is like Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, all of those cities, and then the bridge in the middle, and then the peninsula, Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg, all of these areas over here. The HRBT splits the South Side and the peninsula. And the South Side has a median sales price of $330,000. Sorry, please bear with me. And the peninsula has a median sales price of $300,000. So the peninsula being, like I said, Hampton, Newport News. So that has increased. It did kind of level, when their interest rates went up, but they have gone back and they've increased. The days on market, I was actually trying to get that for like today, and I couldn't find it on the statistic report, but it's like 100 pages. But I know it's definitely not 55 days or 90 days. I mean, it's probably like maybe 14. If a house here is priced right and it's, in good condition, and in a desirable area, near the bases or near the colleges or in a, good school system, it's going like in the same day. I've had clients where I've sent them a house in the morning, it's under contract that evening. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about that, because, are you really servicing your seller well when you don't even really allow a day for showings? But I'm assuming that they got an offer that they couldn't refuse. But it's happening here all the time. And if something is on for a while, it makes you kind of squint your eyes. Price, or there's something kind of weird going on, but it's just not too much of that, because there's no inventory. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that is a great point. I'm definitely seeing that too, where sometimes we'll go out to a showing and get a text message that's like, hey, we accepted an offer and we couldn't refuse it. Or sellers will put, or listing agents will put in the MLS, hey, we're reviewing offers on Monday, but Saturday comes and they're like, hey, we got tons of offers. We're making a decision tonight. Like, it's literally what's happening right now, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, so I want to kind of like ask and answer a question, kind of talking about that. So I know that we were kind of giving a little snippet of interest rates, and there are some, like I said, well, Richmond, it's a lot of buyers in the market right now. I'm working with a lot of buyers kind of in the same price point. My average price point right now for my buyers is $250,000 to $300,000. And I had a buyer ask me the other day, actually, they're like, hey, what do you do, in a situation where you might have multiple buyers looking for the same property, right? So when it comes to that, which honestly, none of my buyers want the exact same property. They're in the same price point, but none of them want the exact same property. So I'm not dealing with that at this very moment. But I always say, full transparency, I will always send the property to those clients. Some people might not be interested. Some people will be. But all in all, I'm going to, be an advocate for each of them and say, hey, if this is something that you like, we can figure out the price. We can figure out this or that. And whoever jumps on it first is going to get it. And that's kind of what I'm seeing a lot when it comes to the properties here, is whoever sees it first is going to get it. Sometimes it's about, hey, this house just hit the market on Thursday. Don't wait till the weekend to try to see it. You need to get out to see it as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And I know, we were talking about the different markets, and Justine, I know that Houston has a little bit more inventory and your home stood a little bit longer, but Now it's like you got to get out to see these houses here in Richmond. It's crazy. It's still a crazy spring market for us here.
It is. I kind of want to piggyback on what you just said about being first. Like I've won offers because we were just, because we got in first and I submitted first. She maybe had like 4 or 5, but they were, fairly similar. So she's like, you submitted first, they're pretty much all the same. So we'll go with yours. That doesn't happen all the time, but it definitely can pay to be the first one through the door. Absolutely.
Are you guys kind of seeing that in your markets too? Sometimes.
Yeah,
Not as
sometimes.
much.
Sometimes.
But again, that's why it's good
Same
to
thing
see
here.
that the markets are different. Even
Yeah.
if you're only 2 hours apart from DC, sometimes it's just different based on different things.
Correct.
I'm still shocked about Houston. Like the way that I hear people, everybody says, I want to move to Texas. I want to move to Houston. How do y'all have so much inventory?
Because they keep building.
I mean,
Yeah.
you also have to keep in
It's a
mind
congested
these
city.
are like the stats too for just Houston, but we have so many outskirts area that's just like 30 minutes outside of Houston. So who knows how many more listings outside of like this specific Houston market update that we have.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the new construction is and a lot of things like that. So people just have a lot of options. That's really what it is.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a lot of options,
They take a while.
It makes it harder to choose.
Right.
It makes it harder to choose. Yeah.
yeah.
I know I'm like that. I'm like, please don't give me all these options.
Right.
Give me 5. If I'm like at a store or something, give me 5 so I can choose.
Mhm.
Too many is it's not always good.
Yes. Sometimes that happens too when you're like, looking for a property with your client. It's like shopping for a wedding dress. Some
Right.
people are so scared to say yes to the dress on the first dress. But if you love the first dress, say yes to the dress because
Go for it.
the 5th dress might be priced a little bit more because you waited a couple months to buy it. Y'all see what I'm doing?
Exactly.
You price it a little bit more, and then there might be a little extra tax, okay, on the dress. Right. Okay,
Because you waited.
because you waited. Yes.
Yep. And that does happen. I've had people absolutely when we go on the first day. If we see 5 and there's one of those in that first day, that's the one. You don't have to see a ton of houses. If it checks all the box and you get that kind of warm and fuzzy, because you will feel it. If you get it, go for it. You don't have to see 20 houses. I feel, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like if I show somebody, this has maybe happened twice. If I show somebody like 10, 15, 20 houses, like I feel like I'm not doing my job. I have to start to question, what am I doing? Am I not showing you really what you're asking for? Those instances, I'll never forget them. I don't think it was me, but I did do some self-reflection after the fact. But no, it's definitely possible to see, one and know it's the one.
Yeah.
If it's the first one. Mm-hmm.
I thought of another. Sorry.
I was gonna say sometimes they see the one and then they want to see 10 more and then they go back to the one. That happened to me with new construction. You saw the new construction the first time, then you want to see all these other houses, and then you end up closing on the one you saw the first time. You could have closed 2 months ago.
We could have just did that in the first place, right?
Texas, you have that option. Because even with new construction here, again, you guys to get in there because these communities are selling out, like, and truly. And someone's going to get your lot. They're going to get, the specific house that you wanted. And then it's like, and the price is going to go up with new construction. Because the more that they sell, the more that the price goes up. So, again, I was thinking, I guess it's a metaphor. It's not an acronym. But you have a good man. What you going to say?
You got what?
If you have a good man, okay, what are you going to say? You're going to be like, oh, you know what? I like this. I think it's great. It's perfect for me, but I want to try to see. No! You're going to say yes and walk, okay? I'm just saying.
That depends on who you ask. But
True.
But I feel you. I'm picking it up. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, we're done with the metaphors.
It is.
Moving on. If anybody else has another question.
Well, we have a fabulous list, and I'm going to pull from there. So here's one.
I have one
Um,
too.
let's see. Okay, I'll pick one. So, what is a home inspection and why is it important? A home inspection is a full assessment analysis just of the house from a home inspector. You know, if I'm an expert, they check everything, crawl space, all the appliances, the attic. They test all the appliances. So you know they run everything. You know the dishwasher. They do everything. They test the heat. They test the AC. It has to be a certain
Mhm.
decibel, something like that. I don't know that lingo, but they test everything. One thing that I get a lot that I want to kind of clarify is how it differs like from an appraisal because they are not the same. A home inspection is not an appraisal. The appraisers are definitely not in there for 3 hours inspecting the house. You know, an appraisal is an assessment of value, So you know, dollars. The home inspectors are definitely not doing that. They are there to just give their unbiased expert opinion on on the condition of the house, on the parts of the house. Sometimes when you're under contract, if it doesn't go so well, you can use that, as a negotiating tool, um, for, lower price, maybe a seller concession. It'll all depend. It is case by case, but it is so critical. Like I've never recommended somebody waive it. And people do that. People waive it entirely where they don't even get a home inspection because they want to get their offer accepted. And I feel like that's a desperation move, honestly. I understand, and of course the seller is going to accept that, but you have to know what you're buying. You buy a car, you test drive it. You just have to know what you're buying. These investments are way too large unless you're a home inspector yourself or you a contractor yourself and whatever it is you can fix. You have to know what you're buying. So the kind of compromise for that, to not have yourself be in a bind, is to get the home inspection for informational purposes. So you still know what you're buying. You're just not going to come back to the seller and ask them to fix anything. But it is definitely something that everybody should get. I never, ever recommend waiving it, even with the new construction.
Right.
Can't waive them.
Mhm. And that goes off one of my questions I was asked, is it really necessary to get a home inspection and how much do it cost?
Absolutely.
So I always say it's very important to get a home inspection because you never know what's wrong with the home and you don't want to move in the home and then the roof falls apart or something that could have been caught by the inspector. If you would have got the inspection, you would have known. So I never recommend to waive a home inspection. And again, in this market that we are in today, buyers are waiving the home inspection so that their offer can win in a multiple offer situation. And I don't know. How do you ladies feel about that? Like,
they're not going to call me pissed off because if the roof fall through because they waived the home inspection, who they going to call? Tiara. Why did you let me do this? What can I do?
Yep.
Like I had one person do it and I literally spent like an hour trying to talk them out of it. And I couldn't, but and it's what won them their offer. So they got it. And, we got a warranty, and it wasn't a terribly old house. But still, but they're going to call us if something doesn't go right, after the fact. So, yeah, no.
And normally, how much do the home inspections cost in you guys' markets? I know here in the Washington, D.C. area, a home inspection can cost from $400 to $700. I'm not sure if that's the same price.
It's about $400, $450.
Okay.
Depending on your inspector as well.
Right.
And depending on the square footage of the house, usually. Right. But you can also add on different things like a radon inspection or a termite inspection. I have seen that a lot of inspectors, like traditional inspectors, they will let you add on like a termite inspection, but I have a company that does it. That's what they do. They literally deal with termites and pests, and they are a lot cheaper. So when you are, giving suggestions to your client, instead of just being like, oh, let's add this on, let's add that on. Check and see if you could go to another person because it might save them a pretty good amount of money. But to piggyback on what y'all were talking about with the inspections, as far as like as is properties, because there are still some properties that are sold completely as is, which basically means that the seller is saying up front, I will not do any repairs to this property. So there are different ways around that, though, because I do deal with a pretty good amount, dealing with one right now, as is properties. So you can still get an inspection for informational purposes. But what I will do is I will include the as is addendum. Now, the as is addendum allows you to still get an informational inspection, but it does give you 10 days to pull out of the deal if you're not satisfied with those results. So even though a property is sold as is, you are able to include that addendum to protect yourself, because who's to know what's going on with that house? Usually here in Richmond, as is properties are usually older properties, right? Or they're properties that, the seller might not know everything that's going on with the home, but they might have a hunch that it has some things going on. So if the home is sold as is, you do have that option to include to protect yourself and your client. So always include that if you have that, because different areas don't, but include that addendum when doing like as is purchase. Okay, somebody else have another question? Oh, first we want to say hi to our audience.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. All right. Does anybody else have another question?
Yes, I have another question. Someone asked me, how long will it take to buy a home? And be honest. That's the question.
And be honest.
Well, I say it depends. It definitely depends. But I will say it could take up to 3 months to actually find a home. And then once you find the home and you put your offer in and it gets accepted, from there it can take 30 to 45 days to finalize everything. Yeah. So I feel like it could take up to 3 months. You could find a home today and put in an offer tomorrow. That'd be amazing. But and
Right.
they get the home that way. But sometimes it could take up to 3 months to actually find the perfect home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was one.
Yeah, I agree. I say if you're looking to get pre-approved, because usually a pre-approval will last about 3 months anyway.
Right.
But you need to be getting pre-approved 3 months before you want to get into your home, a little bit before, so that you have a chance to look and find a home. Because right now in Richmond, that is kind of the hardest part, is finding a home, getting your offer accepted. So you want to give yourself a little bit of time. Like if your lease is up in April, don't call me in March talking about give yourself some time so that you can get into the home, go under contract, do everything you do. Because it's like you do a little bit earlier, but you want to give yourself a little bit of time to find a home for sure.
Okay. I guess I'll go to the next question that I've been asked. Like, what is title? What is the title serve? Why is it important? Like, why do you, why we need a title company? And it's a third party. I wouldn't say they're on anybody's side, but I feel like it's most beneficial for the buyer. Because what it is extensive search on public records about the house. So you're not in a situation to where it's a lien on the property or something is due on a property and it hasn't been paid. It might not even be able to be sold. So that's why it's very important to have a title company. It just protects your investment and give you that peace of mind that the property can be transferred to you and you're not going to have like future legal issues that come out of nowhere. So definitely have to have a title company. So hopefully that answers that person's question.
Yes, and title, a lot of people will get like title insurance as well because honestly, with some of these properties, you don't know really who owns it.
Right.
And someone technically might have owned it 50 years ago and it wasn't transferred properly, and they can still have ownership in the property, in your property. So you want to kind of get title insurance. That'll kind of help to protect you from that. Yes, most of the time it does pop up with a title search, but just in case, title insurance is really important as well too.
Yes, that was a good question because I don't think we really talked about that last time, and it is a part of the process for sure. So
yeah, definitely.
Let's see, what are the questions?
Well, I think you're on mute here.
Okay. Oh, I'm good now? Okay. What is home equity and how can I use it? So home equity is, I'm trying not to just give like the definition. The difference between the value and what's owed. So if you owe less than the value, what that difference is. And how can you use it? Well, okay, backtrack. Some people can be what's called like upside down. And I think there's a lot of that in this market. If you're guaranteeing an appraisal or if you're paying tens of thousands of dollars above an appraisal, you're paying more than what something is worth. So just a little tidbit with that. But how can I use it? So just one example, I mean, you can use the equity in your home for multiple purposes, but one is a HELOC loan, a home equity line of credit. People can use it to purchase another home, which is a, house hack, so they call. You can pay off debt. You can consolidate debt. I know somebody right now, he is actually, he took out a HELOC and they have his interest rate is super low. It's nothing like, like the mortgage rates. It's like 2%, his HELOC rate. And this, he made me think of something. So to pay it back, he is actually using like interest from like a CD, and he's paying back his HELOC with that interest. So it's not even his money. He's paying it back. So there's a lot of creative ways, to get involved with HELOCs, with your home equity line of credit. There's creative ways to pay it back. There's creative ways to use it. I think one of the most important ways to use it is to purchase another income producing property, multifamily, a rental, however it may be.
You can
y'all had anybody?
I would say you can use it for renovations.
Yes.
I think too with HELOC, you can use it for education. Like say you want to go back to school, you can take out some of that money and use it for education. So equity is a good thing to have.
I didn't know that. That's really good. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And some different ways to boost your equity, because I'll go back to it again. A lot of people are getting a boost in their equity just because people around them are selling their properties for a lot more money. So basically, when we go in to price a property, we look at the comps, and the comps are the comparable properties that are in the area. And those usually give us a better price for the home that you're trying to sell. So a good way to boost your equity is just other people selling their houses around you and the value going up. Of course, if you do certain improvements to your home, i.e., a lot of times kitchens and bathrooms add a lot of value to the home. You don't have to do anything crazy like add on or anything usually, but just those simple things. Do some improvements into your home, put some improvements into your home, and that can boost your equity as well. I had a closing today. My client walked away with over 6 figures from her house, from selling her house. And it's just something that's amazing to see. No, sometimes it's not an instant thing. It might take a few years for you to get that type of amount, but your property is just so powerful.
For sure.
Let me see if I have another question. So let's go into, well, it's a little backwards because we were talking about inspections, we were talking about as is. But there's another question. So how can I terminate the transaction? So if you're under contract, usually give something called an earnest money deposit. And your earnest money deposit is due usually 3 to 5 days after your contract is accepted. And then that earnest money deposit goes to the title company. It's basically a promise to the seller, hey, I promise to purchase your property, and I promise to follow along with all the deadlines, which is inspection, appraisal, everything like that. And then you get that money back at closing. Now, when it comes to terminating a transaction, there's a few different ways that a contract can be terminated. Inspections, which when you do your inspection, you want to write how many days it's going to take for you to do it on the contract, and you want to stick to that date. So you need to make sure that you're getting the repair request, if you have any, to the seller in that time frame. But if you are not satisfied, you can terminate the contract after negotiating with the seller. Also, another way is if you are picking a community that has an HOA, when you get a community with an HOA, the seller has to order HOA docs. And you basically have 3 days from the time that you receive those docs in order to say, okay, yes, I can abide by these rules of the HOA and I'm good to continue with this contract. But if you're not, that's another way you can terminate the transaction. And then another way is if your loan just gets denied. So if your loan gets denied, then basically you can't purchase that property. Sometimes it's extra factors that, you might be able to get pre-approved or approved again for another property. But if your loan is denied, you do get that earnest money deposit back. And in all those situations, you get your earnest money deposit back as long as you are hitting those deadlines with it as well.
Yes. So when you mentioned the HOA, it kind of made me think of something that I'm dealing with now. So it's kind of not on the same lines, but so I have a couple, they're looking for, they're going to live in this home, but down the line, they do want to rent it out and then, buy something bigger and larger in a couple years. The houses that we've been finding in their price point are in a lot of associations. And the first question that I ask the listing agent is, is there a rental cap? So if you have clients that, even though it is going to be their primary residence, but maybe, down the line in the next couple of years, they do want to rent it out and you're in an HOA or a condo association, you have to know if there's a rental cap. Some places don't, and you're good. Some are, and they have a long waiting list. And if there's this income producing rental, for the homeowner, the actual seller, that waiting list is probably going to take a while. It's probably long, and it's going to take a while to get up there until you have that opportunity, to rent yours. So definitely, if you're thinking about that, make sure that, you ask your agent, if you're listening, and then for agents or for you ladies, just make sure that because they generally know that prior to waiting for the documents. Every time that I've asked, they already knew yes or no, or what the percentage, or if there's a waiting list. So you don't even have to bother if that's what their plans are, but that particular community won't fit them.
Absolutely. And then also, last question with HOA, well, statement. So your HOA or an HOA does affect your purchase price. So when you are looking at a community, usually townhomes and condos, automatically, it's going to have an HOA, because usually with townhomes and condos, they have different parts of the home that they help to maintain. So like the outside of a townhome, or the grass or something like that. And then a condo, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a condo is off the bat definitely going to have an HOA. What I see, especially here in Richmond, our condo HOA fees are a little bit higher than townhome HOAs, again, because a lot of them have like um, common areas that they upkeep for all of their residents. So when you're looking at properties, you want to think about how the HOA, let's say an HOA is $150. I think for every $50, it's going to take your purchase price down $10,000. So if the HOA is $150, that means that your now cap on your pre-approval is $30,000 less than what it is. So you want to think about that when you're looking at communities with HOAs and your purchase.
So true.
Okay. Well, let's go into some questions for these sellers because, like we said before, some of us are dealing with, well, most of us, yes, are dealing with a seller's market. But we definitely want to answer any questions that some sellers might have as well, if anybody has any questions for them.
I guess the question is like, how do I prepare my home for sale? So,
Yeah, that's the same question.
oh, you have the same question?
Yeah, that's the same. I guess I was talking. I was on mute. But yeah, that's the same question. How do I prepare my home before I even sell it? Yep.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off of you.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, I was hoping the listing experts here can answer that one. As you guys know, I'm the buyer's specialist. So, yeah.
Okay, I can give some insight for sure. Can you guys hear me first of all? I think we're making sure
Yes,
the sound
we
is
can
good.
hear you. Well, I can hear you. Sorry.
Yes,
Okay, awesome. So yes, so preparing a home for the market, sometimes it can be simple, sometimes it can be, I don't want to say complicated. It can be more than simple. Let's say that. So sometimes you get a home that is ready for the market. Let's say that, you know, it's pretty clean, decluttered, because that's something that is really big. You want to make sure that your home is decluttered, okay? Especially if you still live in the property, because not every house that goes on the market is going to be vacant. Okay, people still live in these homes and they still have to live in the homes while they're selling it. But while you are having your home on the market, you want to make sure that you declutter it. So any type of extra junk that you might have or whatever, put it away. If you can, I would say if you have large furniture or if you just have like an over amount of furniture, maybe put some things in storage. A lot of sellers that are selling their homes are in the process of buying another home because they're upgrading or whatever the case may be. So, you know, they might not know where they're going until after they either sell or go under contract. So, while you are living in the home, you want to make sure that there's not access of junk in a way. So, put things in storage if you can, especially like I said, those big furniture items. I tell my clients to depersonalize the home. So, take down any family photos, you know, take down anything that can basically say like, hey, this is my house. You want the next buyer to know that this could be their house. So take down all the photos. Okay.
All the religious things, take that down as well, because people might have different views.
Exactly.
Any political things, because I will run right out of the house if I see the wrong name, or if I see too much of the wrong name.
Sports, take down all of that stuff. You just don't want anything
Deer
to
heads,
think model home. When you go into a model home, it's like a blank canvas, and you could see yourself there. You go into somebody else's house where it's all their things, you feel like you're in somebody else's house. You can't see yourself there.
Yeah. Need to have try to put on
in doubt,
fire eyes. Fire eyes.
Yes.
I try to
look at it through the buyer's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That part right there, Mo.
Because I just literally said this to a client. Let's have buyer eyes. Because you know, some people don't feel like their property is cluttered or needs to be this or that, you know. So it is up to us to guide them and let them know, you know, hey, let's do this or let's do that, or you know, we walk in with our buyer eyes. So yes. I agree. We need first make sure the property is presentable,
For sure.
Absolutely.
prepared to
Absolutely.
sell.
And that goes to taking professional photos. So you want to make sure that, again, your first impression of the home is everything. People see this home on the internet first. So you want to make sure that you are presenting it with professional photography so that people can see exactly how the house looks so they can come look at it.
Right.
Because I know my buyers, they're not coming to look at no property that they don't think is appealing from the photos. So you want to make sure that you present it in a very good way. We're gonna
Don't let your agent take pictures on their phone. Don't do it.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
And I see that when I tell y'all I be talking about people. I'm just like,
It's
look,
so
first of all, if you
professional.
don't clean up, so unprofessional. One, if you don't clean up, or if you don't tell your client to clean up, or if you don't help them clean up if they don't want to clean up. Because
Mhm.
I'm not putting my name on anything that looks a hot mess. So if I need to go over there and help you clean, I'm gonna go over there and help you clean.
Exactly.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's the right
Oh, we got a question.
time.
How do you know it's the right time to sell? Anybody?
I mean,
Okay.
it could be a life situation. I feel like it's situational.
Mhm.
Maybe
Oh,
you
we
need
gotta start on mute.
because y'all can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe you're relocating, maybe your family is growing, maybe kids are leaving the house. It's situational on why you would need to sell, I think. What do you guys think?
No, that's absolutely correct. And honestly, it's not always the right time to sell for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, when we're talking about, pricing your home, sometimes it might not be the right time for you to price your home because all the comps in your area are selling for less than what it actually should be. But, you know, it might pick up in a couple months or so. You can't really tell sometimes, but it makes sense. But it's not always the right time for you to sell your actual property. But just like Justine said, it's very situational. You might have clients that need to move to a different state. You might have clients that want to upgrade or downsize. Like, make it make sense for you. So after you make the decision, hey, I think I want to sell, talk to the realtor, i.e., one of us. Talk to the realtor and say, what do the numbers look like? And do you think it is a good time for me to sell? Based on the
Exactly.
numbers that you with.
And I'm gonna tell you, if it don't make sense, it don't make sense. For sure. Like,
The numbers don't lie.
Don't lie to
yeah,
you.
they don't.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, a good agent is going to be truthful and let you know, hey, I think we should wait a little bit, or I think it's a good time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A seller client, he had investment properties. Can you hear me? He had investment properties, and it wasn't his. He doesn't even live here, so it's it definitely wasn't. It wasn't his primary residence, but the tenant wasn't. It was more of a headache for him than the cost of, or the price of what he was making. It was just, he didn't have that peace of mind anymore. The income wasn't passive, it was giving him a headache. So for that reason he sold. And it wasn't his only rental property, he did have others, so it didn't affect his cost. I mean, his quality of life or anything. By selling that one, he did keep some others. So for him in that instance, it was time for him to sell that particular property. And he actually had bought it with his VA loan long time ago. It was almost paid off, truly. So he made a good amount of money, and he purchased another one. So it definitely is situational. And if you're thinking about it, like you said, Sierra, contact one of us. We can run the comps, we can run the numbers. Just have your equity statement ready so we can know how much is owed on the property and give you an accurate number of what you can make. And then have a plan with what to do with that as well. That's a conversation that we maybe can have on our next one. What to do with those monies once you sell your house. So many people have made money off of their properties. Probably the largest chunk of money, it's like they hit the lottery. Now what do I do with this now? And there's a lot of things that you can do with that. but we don't have enough time for that tonight. Next time.
That's true.
Yes, that was a great question though. Definitely a great question. Also, again, to piggyback, when we're talking about sellers, that's why it's so important to price your home so well, because you never want to overprice your home, because honestly, that can have buyers saying, no, I'm not even interested. It can pull people away from the property, and you want to get as much traffic as you can so that you could possibly create a multiple offer situation. So again, when you contact your real estate agent, they can give you an idea of what the comps are and what the market value for your home is, so that you can price it confidently and sell as quickly as possible for top dollar. So definitely listen to your agent. You know, who you choose to represent you, they should have your best interests. And they, should work for you to get you top dollar. And I know we are.
Yeah.
So
And do you want your house to sit or do you want it to sell? That's
ooh, put it on a shirt. Put it on a shirt.
Do you want it to sit or do you want it to
Make that so we can make some merch.
Netflix present sit or sell.
For real.
Love it. Love it.
I'm trying to find. It was something else, Justine. It was that, and it was something else that you said that day. No, it was in our script practice, wasn't it? Was it in our script?
I think it might have been. Yeah.
I think it was, where he was like, I would rather turn down like however many offers than to not even receive one,
right,
when it's overpriced. I forgot exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but it made
I'd rather
sense.
you receive offers than to not get any at all, you know? For sure.
And you definitely run into that when you overprice. But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of that now, where people are just, throwing a number out there and hoping that somebody will, fall for it essentially. But we do the same homework. We check the comps. Just because this is such a seller's market, I'm not just letting my buyers just get anything just because you said the number. I still do my research. All of us, we check our comps. We make our comparisons. However it is, and if it's overpriced, I don't wait for you to lower the price. If it's overpriced, I'm gonna offer you what we feel like we should offer you.
Right. Exactly.
And then if it's meant to be, it'll be.
So how do you get a client, if they're a seller, to understand the difference from pricing it right and overpricing? Because I feel like a lot of sellers want to overprice. Because I get it, they feel like that's the value of their property, and then they're emotionally attached, and they did this to it, they did that to it, and it should be priced this. So how do you...
I think just giving them examples. I've seen homes that are overpriced, and overpriced can be $5,000 to $10,000. It doesn't have to be $30,000 to $40,000. It can literally be that little bit of a difference that can make all the difference. So say, hey, this house down the street, it technically should have been listed at this price, but it was overpriced, and this is how long it took to get under contract. But if you show them the value in the price and say, hey, I honestly think that we should list at this price, right? So that we can attract more buyers. I think that the house would appraise for this price. I'm not an appraiser. I will never say the house going to appraise for this price, because I don't know. Okay. But based on the comps, which is what the appraiser looks at, I think that will be good when it comes to an appraisal at whatever price. Also, if you have somebody as a listing agent, and you have somebody offering, let's say the house is listed for $300,000 and they're offering $350,000, they're doing a loan and they are not putting any money towards an appraisal gap, you need to be asking questions to that buyer's agent saying, hey, one, where did y'all get that number from? Two, I don't think the house is going to appraise for that. It's kind of out of the blue. And if y'all want to give that much, y'all need to put an appraisal gap in there, which is basically saying, hey, as a buyer, I will pay the difference in cash if there is an appraisal shortage. So yes, it's great to get, a higher number than your list price, but it also has to make sense. You don't want to go under contract and then we're sitting here $50,000 difference from the appraisal,
That's true.
Girl, I'm like itching over here because I hate that. Like it looks good on paper and that's it.
Mhm.
If you're not guaranteeing, and I don't work with a lot of people who can or even want to guarantee appraisal. So I'm not just throwing some number out there because it looks good on paper. Um, and I had a listing where we didn't accept the highest offer because of that reason. I'm like, this is not going to appraise. There's no way it's going to appraise. You know, so yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, it's not just the highest number, especially if you aren't going to guarantee, a difference in appraisal.
That's true.
Absolutely. We got a little shout out. Dave Neal says, shout out to Justine for helping
Whoop,
our
whoop, whoop,
in
whoop.
Houston getting their home on the market and sold in no time. In no time.
In no time.
And that's how you know it was priced right.
Right.
Boom. Example. Yes.
You
Congratulations.
start getting them calls the day of. Oh, it's priced right. Because like Tiara said, we all do the same. We run the same comps just to see, like, is this overpriced? Is this price too low? When it's priced fairly and correctly,
It will sell.
Absolutely.
them calls start coming in the day of.
Mm-hmm. And I did want to another thing that I do kind of to answer your question too, Mo, when a seller is kind of stuck on a number that we know is too high. I feel like if you like flip the script a little bit, it always works, So, if you were the buyer and there are these 4 houses in this neighborhood, they're all kind of similar, but one is 100,000, one is 120, 30, 40, whatever. And there's one that's at 200, but they're all fairly similar. Which one are you going to want to write the offer on? You're not going to write the offer on the highest price, So, just kind of bringing it back to like reality and a practical situation sometimes helps, because some people are just stuck on a number and they just want to test it and see. But then that also just creates a domino effect because your days on market time takes away your leverage. So, it's a domino effect when you overprice your home and it just sits because you want to see what happens.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we can't tell you what to do. We just offer you our professional advice. And, from where we get the number with the tools that we have. So, I mean, but ultimately, it's the seller's decision.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I will
maybe
say,
go with their decision and then wait a couple weeks and be like, okay, maybe we need to reevaluate. You see, we're not getting any calls. It's been 2 weeks.
So now do you want to listen to me?
yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes
And I will say, to piggyback off of that, sometimes the most money is not always the best offer.
Right.
Literally. I had a property that I missed out on for my buyer client, and we were $5,000 difference. $5,000 difference. My client didn't want to budge. She had already come up. The seller didn't want to, they were like, hey, we're going to go with this other one. That's fine. We were closing quicker, right? Our contingencies were shorter, but they went with the other offer. One day later, we went under contract for another house. And 2 days later, that other house went back on the market.
Oh,
the
wow.
The next day, it went back under contract. And then 2 days later, it went back on the market. Literally. So sometimes the most money is not always the best offer. Right. Sometimes it's good if that buyer can close quicker. Sometimes it's good, if they're putting up money towards an appraisal, or if they're having shorter contingencies, like a shorter inspection period. Like, make it make sense for the seller, and make sure that you talk to them as a listing agent and say, hey, this offer is this, but this is this. And honestly, I feel confident in whatever, but give your advice. But yes, it is their decision at the end of the day.
For sure.
No, absolutely. And that's kind of, this is just everything just popping in my mind as y'all talking. If you want to, present a strong offer, maybe calling and seeing if they need a rent back, like a free rent back. That's another kind of creative thing to do. Even if they don't need it, maybe just having that extra week, to move out. Oh, well, I do need that, and that may help. So it definitely is not always about the money. Oh my goodness, these hours, this time, it's already 8:00.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we were having so much fun.
Right.
I know.
And learning. I'm up here learning a lot too. I'm like, wow. Okay. Yes, team
When
lead.
we get to talking about real estate, it's just like, you know,
Time goes.
It's
it comes
magical, you know.
You start.
So I do want to announce I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, dang.
I didn't hear you.
No, I was just saying you start thinking about those.
Oh yeah. I don't want to forget to announce the winner of the gift card.
Yes,
That's why I was
absolutely.
kind of.
You got one job, T.
So I know, right? You ready? Julie Stewart. Julie, you won our gift card. So
Yay.
thank you for registering. Thank you everybody for tuning
Yes,
in.
thank you.
Please do not hesitate to contact any of us. If you have any questions, real estate questions, if you have any real estate needs in any other part of the country, we are the ultimate resource. I mean, even just anything. If you need a contractor,
Yeah.
call us. Like, we are the ultimate resource. We pride ourselves in being that for the consumer, for the public, for our clients, and everything in between. So Julie, we will email you with how you're going to get your gift card. And you want to say something? She's been all in the camera. Now she say no. Now she say
Hi.
Hey.
that's
Our real estate agent in training.
in training. Yeah,
He's in training. So watch out.
little mini mogul. This was great as always. I always love it.
Yes.
Love when we can connect, because we're in different areas, so we don't always get these opportunities. Well, you know what? No, we do get these opportunities 5 days a week.
We really do. But
We
it's
really
still
do,
also great to get up here with the ladies and discuss what's going on in our market, because like I said, I still learn as well from what's going on in you ladies' market, and it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Always.
All right, y'all. Well,
It
thank
is,
you
it
guys
is.
so much for being here tonight. We will see you guys on the next one. If you guys have any questions for us, we're going to give our Instagram handles. So mine is CMK Sells RVA. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on there.
Mine is Tiara, TIARAANN, Tiara Ann _ Realtor.
And
And
mine is what is my handle, guys? Mine is MOLAOGUN, the realtor on Instagram, I believe.
Bree's putting it in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
Bree. She's so
Bree,
awesome.
yes, thank you, Bree. This is
Bree saves my life all the time.
Yes.
yes, and mine is I am Justine on all social media platforms. So yeah,
Good.
thank you guys.
All right, ladies.
See
All
y'all
right,
next
y'all.
time.
We'll see you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye, baby. Oh, yes.